Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om 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 Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om 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 Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah
Om Sahanavadu Sahanau Bhunatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Madhitamastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is not a question, it's just a statement. Isn't it amusing that during this discourse we hold on to our preferred chair by placing a cloth, cushion, or even study material, sometimes when tying our handkerchief to it? If we get so attached to a seat, how much harder must it be to detach ourselves from the body mind sense complex that we have identified with for years? It's not a question, it's just an observation, I guess. Is not Brihadaranyaka Upanishad Shruti or Veda? Why does it need to give reference for validation? Also, the exact locations of the reference are missing. Is it that we have lost our Shruti? As we said, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is Brahmana Upanishad, and this is the style of the Upanishad that Mantra Upanishad is considered more authentic than Brahmana Upanishad. Therefore, Brahmana Upanishad, like Taiti and others, they quote verses in order to validate. It's a style, I mean, it's nothing. Uh, but this is what we find in other Brahmana Upanishads also. Since Itihasa is a record of real events, Itihasa iti ha asa. This is how it was. How does one explain Hanumanji eating sun, Indra hating him, and Vayu sucking all the air? With this, there will be no fun in the life at all. If everything has to be based only on these realities, then there will be no Puranas at all. And Itihasa is different and Purana is different. So in Purana, a lot of, what shall I say, the uh, events are given describing some of these spiritual experiences also. The idea is that some spiritual experiences are hard to explain in common language, and so this kind of method also is used. Hmm.
But isn't this Itihasa and not Purana?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the Hanuman?
Sorry.
You're talking about Hanumanji?
Yes, yes.
Well, Ramayana is Itihasa, all right. But you see, the poets have the license of exaggeration. Yeah, that is called poetry, where the poet has a license of exaggeration. So,
Swamiji, it is said, Jahanam poche Ravi, Maha poche Kavi.
ah,
Poet can reach even beyond the sun.
are the lokas, devatas, and reincarnation regarded as fact or belief? As far as the reincarnation or rebirth is concerned, it is not a belief. Because the law of karma says that there has to be continuity. We said in the class that just as there is a conservation of matter, so also there is conservation of life. So life is not born, life does not die, life changes forms from one embodiment to the other. And therefore, rebirth, reincarnation, I don't know how this word has become so popular. It's rebirth really. Incarnation is only for Ishvara. So it's called avatara. So when Lord takes a form, it's called incarnation. When we take form, it's not incarnation, it's rebirth. But it makes sense because if my life work is not complete in this lifespan, then I need. Everybody is born with an agenda. And our ultimate agenda is moksha. That's what each one of us wants. Whether it is clear to us or not is a different thing. But every individual wants freedom, unconditional freedom, which is moksha. And there may not be an insight in this lifetime as to what I want, and my life may be squandered away. Born again, until this goal is reached, this process of rebirth will go on, which is good. Although if you don't accept rebirth or previous birth, then you have just one lifetime to accomplish such huge goal. Moksha is not an ordinary thing. It takes countless lifetimes to Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. Lord Krishna says, and of many, many lifetimes that a wise person sees me. So this is an ongoing process. None of us has started only in this lifetime. So it may look like that, but it is not so. Sixth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita describes that, how this is an ongoing process, and pick up the thread at some point in time. So at some point in time, something told you to go to a class or a camp or something. Sometimes the explanation may be possible, sometimes it just happens. But there is a connection which takes place at some point in time, meaning that it is an ongoing process, stretched over I don't know how many lifetimes. Swamiji, if dreams arise from past karma, why do we say that impressions from the waking state carry over into dreams? So we have accumulated impressions from our waking hours, but which impression will result into dream? What decides which impression will form itself into a dream? Again, karma decides that, because so many impressions are there. It's not only that today's impressions will reflect in my dream, and so there also karma is involved. The karma which is responsible for the dream experience, when that fructifies, then dream experience takes place. This is our explanation because we seek an explanation for everything. So why does dream take place? Why does anything take place? If there is a reason, and the reason ultimately is karma. Why is the dream state dwelled upon in such a detail? What is the significance? As you say, dream state is a state where it is easier for us to understand the self-effulgent nature of Atma. Atrayam Purushaha Swayam Jyotir Bhavati. In this state, this Purusha or the person of self becomes Swayam Jyoti, self-illuminating. So dream is an experience where it is easier to understand that the self or the Atma is self-effulgent. Not that it is self-effulgent only in dream, it's always self-effulgent. But we said in the class a number of times, in waking state there are so many other sources of light, and therefore it may be difficult for us to understand that it is only light of Atma, but in dream there are no other lights, and still everything shines. And so it's easy to understand how Atma ourselves provides that light or consciousness. So today's questions are all of dream, because there was a discussion in the class. You said that dreams are based on our experiences. They are not substantially different from the experience in the waking state. But we often dream of things we have never experienced. Maybe you're not experiencing this lifetime. You may experience in some other lifetime. Sometimes that also can. Another Upanishad says that it's possible that what you experience in other lifetime also may appear as dream. So that may explain why in the dream sometimes we see places we have never visited, meet people we have never known, etc., or we have not met. That is because this experience may happen in the earlier lifetime also. In meditation, there are moments of stillness or contentment. Is this abiding in Atman? How do I know it is not false identifying with Anandamaya Kosha? if in that moment of stillness or contentment, if there's still sense of individuality, a slight sense of individuality, then it's Anandamaya Kosha. The sense of individuality becomes subtler and subtler as we go into subtler koshas. And so, Manomaya and Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya. And so in Anandamaya, the distinction between the enjoyer and enjoyer is very, very, very fine distinction. Disappears in Atma, is final. So it is possible. So when you feel a sense of contentment or stillness, if you still experience sense of individuality or experience of bhokta, then it is Anandamaya Kosha. If that bhokta also disappears, then it is yourself. Meaning that at that time you are not aware, later on you realize that I was completely lost. So then that is you, but otherwise, if there is an experiencer, then it is the Anandamaya Kosha. How do we make our mind sharp, focused, and subtle enough to receive these teachings? Japa is mentioned in Vedanta. Are there other techniques? Yoga, in fact, is a technique of making the mind develop the concentration of mind. So yoga, ultimately, a definition is chitta vritti nirodha, when all the vrittis have stopped arising. But yoga helps us develop the concentration of mind. It is Ashtanga yoga, in which there is asana, pranayama, dharana, dhyana. So dharana is concentration and dhyana is meditation. So Yoga Shastra in detail describes this as to what are the possible objects of meditation outside of you, within you, etc. And so that gives you a lot of insight. For us, as I said, japa is the best, and that will help us develop the focus of the mind. And don't choose a short mantra. A long mantra, bhur, bhuva, suva, tat, savik. By the time I'm reached there, I'm lost, So it may be all right for upasana, but then for japa, it's best to have a short mantra. Om Namah Shivaya, whatever, Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, so that you don't get lost between beginning and end, The method of understanding Advaita Vedanta has been created a very long time ago. We are now living in a time that is very different. Overpopulation, not many natural environment, etc. There are so many distractions, so many gurus, that's also interesting, etc. I wonder how the method stays the same and works in these very different times. You have the freedom always to take time out in your, for example, Mahatma Gandhi set aside one day for silence, for his meditation. So you can assign a given time of the day for meditation and thus keep practicing. It is abhyasa of the practice which is what will help us to develop the ability to focus. It doesn't matter whether it's 21st century or first century. Human mind is essentially the same. Yes, there may be many activities, more distractions, but then the mind is, because the question that Arjuna asks of Lord Krishna in the 6th chapter of the Gita, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramati balabhadranam, he describes his mind as restless and unsteady and obstinate, etc. How do I control that mind? So mind is not much different for Arjuna as well as for us. And therefore the methods given, Abhyasa and Vairagya in Bhagavad Gita and Yoga Shastra, they will work today also. If you are serious about this, then Abhyasa and Akaunteya, Vairagya Chakri, Abhyasa and Vairagya. See, there is a reason why the mind gets distracted. Because it is attached somewhere. That like a bee goes into where the honey is, so the mind goes where it is attached. So let's understand the attachments of the mind, the raga dveshas of the mind, and try to so slowly make the mind free of raga dvesha. Lord Krishna prescribes a life of karma yoga, meaning a life of certain values and attitudes. Values, of course, are known to us. Lord Krishna also teaches amanitvam, madambhitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, arjavam. And the attitude of performing actions as an offering to the Lord, receiving the result or outcome as a prasad of the Lord. So we have to cultivate these attitudes to slowly and slowly make our mind inward looking, train our mind. And then the mind will help us. So we have to make our mind our friend. Atmaiva hyatmava bandhu atma virupuratmana. Lord Krishna says our mind can become our benefactor or the mind can become our enemy also. So we have to make our mind our friend by making it free from ragadveshas, the distracting elements, by living a certain way of life, certain attitudes and values in our life. And this mind progressively is trained and formed. What is the importance of Diksha in Nama or Mantra Japa? Diksha means a formal transfer of, say, a mantra from Guru to Shishya. In that case, some energy of the Guru also comes along with that mantra. That is an advantage. But otherwise, if that is not so, then also mantra has its own power. And so more and more you repeat, more and more you'll be able to feel its effect. If mind is located in heart, does it get exchanged during heart transplant? Because one heart is gone, the heart comes, No, that is not so. Again, locate in new heart, Not that goes away with heart. Can you give some insights on deep sleep state? Let us see if this Upanishad discusses that, During rebirth, as a random lot from Sanchita Karma is assigned as Prarabdha or previous births, Karma has any role. Generally, from the accumulated Karma, whatever are most powerful Karma, they create their influence. So all these Lord karma, which those which are most powerful assert themselves, and we first have to deal with, exhaust them. Having done that, next powerful karma, another karma. Done that, third powerful karma. And like that, when all karmas are mostly exhausted, then generally, in short, it is powerful karmas that assert themselves first, and then when they are dealt with, then the next powerful karma. Hopefully by then you'll become jnani, so you don't have to worry about it all the time. I'm equipped with the body, mind, sense complex and have the freedom to identify with it or not. Well, if you exercise the freedom of not identifying, that requires a lot of practice, but that will be great. That if you develop the de-identification of the body, that means then you will be able to, or less and less identified you are, more and more you will be with your true self. Can the self similarly control or possess other body, mind, sense complex? No. As long as you are in this body, then there is this body, mind, sense complex with which there is an identification. And that is what we have to become free from. While you are in this body, you can't be identified as another body, mind, sense complex. If that was a question, I don't know. But what is the necessity of knowing the truth about oneself while alive? Since ignorance or false identification exists in mind, and the mind along with body perishes at death, it does not. We have the gross body and we have the subtle body. So mind is the most predominant element of subtle body. So what perishes is the gross body. And the mind continues to remain and comes to the next embodiment, where again we have not done our homework, then we'll continue the further. So mind does not perish until you gain moksha. Until then, the mind will go from one embodiment to the other. That is why we are born in this body with our own peculiar personality, our peculiar traits, peculiar samskara. That's why every individual is unique, because they have a unique history, which is inherited. So, mind does not die, by the way, it is body that dies. Intellect knows what is a right decision, but my mind's will is not ready to execute it. How to get the mind to comply? So one must know the distinction between intellect and the mind. Intellect knows what is right, and the mind is not ready to execute it. Well, mind has its own agenda. Intellect is a thinking faculty, mind is a feeling faculty. And therefore, emotions or feelings may not necessarily be aligned with your thinking. It may need a lot of training to align your emotional mind with your intellectual thoughts. And thus, the intellect has to constantly train the mind. Lord Krishna explains that let the mind having, so mind, intellect has a viveka or discrimination or understanding. Mind is a habitual faculty, it follows old habits. Therefore, the intellect which now has the understanding, let's say from Vedanta, has to be aware of the thoughts of the mind and constantly monitor them and guide them. So intellect should guide the mind, understand the mind, guide the mind to think in a correct way or act in a correct way. Thus, it's a process that we have to train our mind to align with the right thinking. The mind is what it is, and it carries past habits of thinking. Now you listen to Vedanta and the thinking has changed and the intellect now understands it differently. The mind is habituated from the past, and therefore we have to slowly and slowly train the mind to align with the new thinking. Until then, you have to control the mind to make it do what you want it to do. So mind may not right away cooperate with us, in which case we have to assert our thinking, the right thinking, and make the mind do what we want it to do.
Who takes the decision?
Intellect.
Mind or intellect decides?
Yeah. Intellect has the understanding. That is where the decision takes place. Mind is habitual, meaning that whatever understanding it had in the past, that's what it carries forward. The intellect changes, and the mind will change only when we translate that intellectual understanding into actual behavior. So a new understanding has to be put into action in terms of new behavior, and that is how the mind will slowly change. Mind will want to go on with the old behavior, and I assert that no, this is the way we have to do. So your new understanding has to be put into practice deliberately. And that's how the mind will slowly change.
So behavior and mind, they are more closer.
Yeah. Mind is more a habitual faculty. Intellect is thinking faculty, mind is a habitual faculty, emotional faculty, impulsive faculty. How to get rid of identification with gross body and identify with subtle body? By developing identification with Atma. So we slowly and slowly train the mind to get identified. So that is where upasana or all this help. If you have an Ishtadevata and if you have that devotion, bhakti, then you can use that power of bhakti to make the mind identify, let's say, with the devata, because you have devotion. And thus, that will help you to de-identify with this body and identify with devata. And from there, you can slowly change it to further on itself. So in stages, we can help the mind to de-identify. So gross identification, little subtler identification. Hmm?
Practice alone is sufficient or grace is also required for that.
Prayer is always required.
Grace.
Yeah, but that comes from prayer. You pray to Lord or Ishtadevata, Guru, to please help me, bless me. So therefore we require our effort as well as the grace of Ishvara or grace. And that grace of Ishvara we acquire by prayer to Ishvara. The prayer becomes also an important part of our sadhana. To tap the grace of Ishvara. It's always there, but we have to tap it.
But Swamiji, when God knows all that we need or want, then why we in the prayer ask for something? Because if God is all knowing, He knows what are we lacking or what we are missing.
Yeah, he knows, and still we have to express. He expects us to tell him. Even though he knows, he expects us. Then he understands that it is valuable to me. He knows what I want, what I need, but I may not understand. And so even if he gives me what I need, I may not care for it because I think something else is important to me. So therefore we have to let Ishvara know that this is what is important to me, this is what I want. Otherwise nobody needs to do anything. Bhagavan knows, all the mind knows that everybody needs moksha. But then in Gita it also says that if I give them, they don't, unless we have appreciation of, we won't appreciate what he gives. And so a famous story of Prahlada, when Lord Hiranyakashipu appeared before them and then he blessed Prahlada and said, come with me to Vaikuntha. Prahlada said, yes sir, I will come, but with one condition, I'll bring my friends with me. So all right, but one condition, they should want to come with you. Of course, everybody will want to go to Vaikuntha. So he went to his friend and said, hey, let's go to Vaikuntha. What Vaikuntha? Yeah, Ishvara's award. No, we'll do it later. We're still children, no, we have to do a lot of things. And then we'll do. He went to everybody, to children, elders, this, that, poor, everybody has some agenda other than Vaikuntha. So nobody was ready. So therefore, he will give us if we want it.
If moksha is the ultimate objective,
But
I'm sorry, I'm in Indian. I'm
go
asking.
ahead.
If moksha is the ultimate objective, is it right on our part to ask something else to God for these worldly things?
Moksha is our object, but we don't know that. At this time, we may or may not have appreciation of what moksha is, and therefore it may not be important. Like a child does not understand the value, if a child is crying, seeking, asking for candies, and I will distract the attention and give him my wristwatch. Gone. He throws it away. There is no value for that. So therefore, unless we discover the value for moksha, even if Ishvara gives us,
We won't know.
we won't have value for it.
Yes, sir. Sir, one more addition. You just said that the jap should be very small. It is right to have a short jap. But suppose if I consider Ganpati Atharva Shirsha or Vishnu Sahasranam and I keep on chanting that continuously, will it be considered as a jap? Will it have the same value or not?
It may have value but not effect. Because you won't be able to focus your mind, whole Vishnu Sahasranam from beginning to end, The mind will wander all over things.
Okay. So it will not be jap.
It will be japa, but won't have as much benefit as you should have.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
How to cultivate one-pointed mind? How to remove obstacles in the path of absolute oneness, including mind and emotions, for samsaric people. So, removing obstacles, there is a progressive path. That Ishvara should become the most important entity in our life. And for that, the first step is Karma Yoga, that I What I do for Ishvara to please him. I have two altars to please. One is my ego and other is Ishvara. Usually we do what we do to satisfy our ego. Slowly we transform ourselves and let Ishvara have a place in our life. At least one action I perform for Ishvara. Two actions. I give some room to Ishvara in my life. That I have to do deliberately. Then slowly and slowly Ishvara will appear in my life. Because otherwise I'm too busy with all the samsaric stuff, and Bhagavan doesn't have much space in my life. So to create some space for him. I'll find some time, as I said, do japa, prayers, puja, whatever it is that you like, when you're able to focus your attention on Ishvara. So we will practice that and give room to Ishvara in our life. Give him the room so that he can enter. We are so busy with so many, that he has no scope to come. How to remove obstacles in the path of absolute oneness? First step, as the Bhagavad Gita teaches, is Antahkarana Shuddhi, purification of mind. Make our mind progressively free from ragadveshas, attachments and aversions. So let us understand what attachments and aversions we have. We will know them from our own behavior. Whenever we act out of impulse, then we know that some attachment, aversion is involved. So let us make note of those things. First, let us understand our mind. And what is it that guides our mind, controls our mind? Just understanding. So when I get angry, then I ask myself, what was the reason? When I get upset, I ask myself, what's the reason? So my own experiences, if I pay attention to them, will help me understand my mind. And slowly I work on that. Basically, let me understand what ragadveshas or attachment aversions I have. Ragadvesha is a general term, but each one of us has our own ragadveshas. And therefore, we have to identify them and work on them. One way is called the Pratipaksha Bhavana. One method that Yoga Shastra and Vedanta teaches is Pratipaksha Bhavana. Pratipaksha. Paksha means a position, Prati means the opposite. I deliberately take an opposite stand to neutralize certain emotion in my mind. Suppose I get angry. I got angry at a certain person because perhaps I may have some objection to some habit of that person, whatever. Then I deliberately ask my mind to focus attention on the other part of the person. Usually we react to only one part. When I get angry, it's only seeing one thing. Our mind does not see the whole thing, doesn't see the whole person. It takes just one part of the person, and the person behaved in a certain way, and I react to that. But the person may have behaved in very different ways at other times, and I don't take that into account. So slowly I have to train my mind to take the whole person into account and not judge the person simply by one event or one episode. So that is how we will be able to do justice to the other people. as best as possible, let us understand the whole and not just react to the part. So Grihasthas have a lot of opportunities to grow. Our Swami used to say that the life of Grihastha will make you a yogi. I still, I am most amazed as to how two people can live together really, day and night. How to put up with them? And I really congratulate them, that they're able to do this. It's a great accomplishment. He's laughing. Because unless you accommodate the other person, it's very difficult to live together. So you accommodate the other person accommodates you. Like that, accommodation, letting go. So thus you learn to let go. When you live together, you learn to let go. Otherwise you cannot live in peace. So letting go, letting go, letting go makes more you let go, more free you are. Because we are born on account of things that we hold on to. When you let go. So letting go is not obliging other person. It may appear like that, but basically it is for my own self. This life of Grihastha or a householder is an excellent setup for emotional maturity, for growth. And that is how we should use that setup. And as I said, I congratulate everybody, this couple who lived together for so long. Celebrate 45 years of marriage and 50 years of that's a great thing. But if we wish to grow, or if we remain the same, then it's not that just because you live together that you will grow. It is a value. I want to use this setup to let go, to let go, to let go, to accommodate. Not helplessly. Oh, Swamiji, what can we do anyway? That's generally in India, What can we do? We have to. But when we do that unwillingly, then often it hurts us. Because I have to suppress my feeling in order to accommodate the other person, and more you suppress yourself, more you damage yourself also. And that's what happens often. So whereas on one hand, the married life can give us an opportunity to grow, on the other hand, it can also cause this suppression, etc., and it can damage us. So whether it damages us or helps us grow is something that we have to watch out. It's not only married couple, that's the best setup anyway, because you can't get away. Two friends at least can get away, all right, I'll see you after 2 weeks or something, You can, other relationship, you can create a distance. You cannot create distance here. And so you have to deal with it. I'm talking theoretically anyway. But I imagine, what can it, the scenario, and I can advise people very well. Swamiji, it is easier said than done. I may have to accept that. But has to be done anyway. So does it mean that I've escaped all that? Maybe I escaped the challenge, but I also escaped the opportunity to grow, isn't it also? Both ways. Anyway, this is just a joke, but so I think we have dealt with all the questions. Most surprising. So shall we ask our Srinidhi to sing? Huh? Satsang, huh? What? Satsang? Bhajan. Huh, that is what I'm requesting her. You like to hear her more than you like to hear me, I think, So that's why I'm telling her. Her voice is much sweeter than mine, so yeah. थोड़ा म्यूजिक ले आओ जी. Shall we switch off the lights? Yeah. Why? Why is not working? It is working.
തെച്ചി മന്ദാരം തുളസി പിച്ചകമാലകൾ ചാർത്തി ഗുരുവായൂരപ്പ നിന്നെ കണി കാണണം. തെച്ചി മന്ദാരം തുളസി പിച്ചകമാലകൾ ചാർത്തി ഗുരുവായൂരപ്പ നിന്നെ കണി കാണണം. വാഗചാർത്ത് കഴിയുമ്പോൾ വാസന പൂവണിയുമ്പോൾ ഗോപികമാർ കൊതിക്കുന്നൊരുടൽ കാണണം. വാഗചാർത്ത് കഴിയുമ്പോൾ വാസന പൂവണിയുമ്പോൾ ഗോപികമാർ കൊതിക്കുന്നൊരുടൽ കാണണം. തെച്ചി മന്ദാരം തുളസി പിച്ചകമാലകൾ ചാർത്തി ഗുരുവായൂരപ്പ നിന്നെ കണി കാണണം. മയിൽ പീലി ചൂടിക്കൊണ്ടും മഞ്ഞപ്പട്ട് ചുറ്റിക്കൊണ്ടും മണിക്കുഴലൂതിക്കൊണ്ടും കണി കാണണം. മയിൽ പീലി ചൂടിക്കൊണ്ടും മഞ്ഞപ്പട്ട് ചുറ്റിക്കൊണ്ടും മണിക്കുഴലൂതിക്കൊണ്ടും കണി കാണണം. തെച്ചി മന്ദാരം തുളസി പിച്ചകമാലകൾ ചാർത്തി ഗുരുവായൂരപ്പ നിന്നെ കണി കാണണം. ഗുരുവായൂരപ്പ നിന്നെ കണി കാണണം. ഗുരുവായൂരപ്പ നിന്നെ കണി കാണണം. So this song is about Krishna in the Guruvayur temple. So the first stanza, in Guruvayur, early morning around 3 o'clock, there's a puja that's called Vagachartha. So the first line says, Vagachartha Karimbor at the end of that particular puja, and very fragrant flowers are offered to Krishna. Asana Purnima. Gopis, the sight that the gopis seek to see. I want that Krishna. Kani is the first thing you see in the morning. So for Vishu we do the Kani. So it says, Krishna, that should be the first thing I see when I wake up. That's the first one. Second one is just describing Krishna. Mail Pili, the peacock feather, adorning the yellow vastram and with the flute. So I wish to see this as the first thing when I wake up. That's the meaning of the song.
Very good. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhaved Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada Purnamevavashishyate Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru